Hey everybody, so if you haven't noticed, there's been a big change in our lives recently. I'm sure you've already seen this if you follow us on social media, but if you haven't, this is Finnegan, and he's our new cat. He's actually a kitten. He's only 7 months old, but he's massive already. And we got him when he was about 2 months old. So I've been wanting to make this video for such a long time, but life got in the way, cats got in the way, and now I guess I'm a cat lady. So I wanted to make a video on the things that I really think you should know before getting a kitten or a cat, and the things that I wish I would have known before adopting a kitten. Yes, this is a second cat. This was supposed to be our foster kitten, but it looks like he's sticking around after having a crazy hip surgery. So that'll be a totally different video, and you guys can check in with us at another time to learn more about this little kitty and find out if we're gonna end up keeping him. The first thing I think you should know before thinking about getting a cat is that cats are not as low maintenance as you may have heard. They actually require a lot of stimulation and enrichment, especially if you're getting a kitten. If you're getting a kitten, they are so high energy. I cannot emphasize this enough. This is why a lot of people suggest getting 2 kittens rather than 1, because you'll find yourself having to entertain your kitten quite often. There are a lot of really great toys on the market to help entertain your kitten when you're not around, but keep in mind that this is not going to be the only way to engage and enrich your cat's life. So if you're thinking about getting a kitten or a cat, please keep in mind they do require a lot of attention and play, and it's important to provide that for them to prevent problem behaviors, but also so you have a happy cat. The second thing I think you should know before getting a cat is that they get into everything, especially a kitten. When we first got Finnegan, he literally got into everything. I mean, drawers, cabinets, the dishwasher. It's really easy to lose a kitten, so I suggest getting a collar with a bell on it so you can keep track of where that kitten is in your house. We have a fireplace in our house, and we had to board it up specifically because he kept trying to climb into it, and I've heard horror stories of kittens getting stuck in crazy places. So always check before you close drawers, close your washing machine, close the dryer, because cats get into all of these crazy places. And some cats you might even need to have a lock on those doors. We have a pantry full of food, and we have to lock it, because if we don't lock it, Finnegan has gotten in there and is stealing all of our food and running around the house with it. So keep in mind, cats can get into everything, and if you think they can't get up somewhere, they absolutely can. They can climb on things, jump on things, sneak into tiny little crevices. So get a collar for your cat, put a bell on it so you can try to keep track of where they are and keep them safe. The third thing I think you need to know about cats, again, especially kittens, is they get really active at night. Cats are nocturnal. They like being awake and to hunt at dusk and dawn. So if you're at work all day, when you get home, your cat will be really excited, but don't be surprised if when you're starting to get ready to go to bed, your cat has crazy zoomies and starts running around the house and jumping on your face. So my suggestion, and what worked really great for us, is to play hardcore with your cat at least an hour before you want to go to bed to make sure that they're tired, and this will help them sleep all throughout the night. Finnegan has a great schedule. He sleeps all through the night with us because we made it a routine of dinner time, playtime, all the way up until we go to bed, and then he would sleep throughout the night. The next thing I think you need to know before you get a cat is that they can chew up every single plant, wire, cord, you name it. So be really careful with what plants you have around your house, and make sure that they're either in a place your cat 100% cannot get to, which I mean like on top of a shelf that there's no access to whatsoever, or just get rid of plants in general. A lot of plants are actually poisonous to cats and can be really toxic, cause vomiting, and potentially even death. So be really careful with what plants you have around your house. Now, like I mentioned before, cats get into everything, on everything, so if you have anything fragile lying around, be careful. They tend to knock over everything. If there's glass, even plastic. I know our cat will get into plastic bags and want to chew them up. And plastic bags can be really dangerous too. If they put their head inside of it, they can actually suffocate. So make sure you keep your house very kitten-proofed. Pick up all dangerous items. Anything glass. I mean, cats love to drink out of glasses, so out of glass cups. So be really careful not to leave those things out, or you might find a huge disaster when you come home. I think it's really important to know that when you are getting a cat, you have to provide for their needs. And an example of this would be to make sure you have a cat scratcher and a cat tree. Cats need places that are their own to hang out. They need to be able to go by themselves, get their alone time if they need it, and cats really love to climb up high. So if they don't have that in the house, you might see them start scratching up the furniture, climbing on places, and getting into things that they shouldn't. So make sure you have scratchers set up places and redirect their attention to the scratcher anytime you see them trying to scratch your couch. Thing that you need to do before getting a cat is to make sure you have everything ahead of time. Now, I'll be honest, I did not do this. I went to the shelter to go play with the kittens, texted my husband a video, and he said okay, and I flipped out and of course took the kitten home and he was ours. So I did not have anything ready for a cat. I didn't have a litter box, I had absolutely nothing. So I highly encourage you to get all this stuff ahead of time because it's kind of a hassle to try to take your newly adopted cat home without anything that he needs. So the things that you'll need will be a litter box, you'll need toys to entertain him with, and I suggest getting a soft-sided carrier so that you can carry your cat to places like the vet and so on. You'll also need bowls, but personally I like to feed my cat out of toys, so I choose some toys that provide stimulation where they get to play with it and the food falls out. Another toy I suggest getting is something to help keep your cat entertained when you're not around. So this would be like a toy with a little ball in it, something that they can do, and of course you'll need a scratcher and eventually a cat tree as well. Now when you bring your cat home, it's really important to put them in a small enclosed area where you can know where they are and keep them safe. Make sure this area is kitten proofed. This will also give you time to get to know your cat without them running away and hiding. A lot of cats and kittens will hide for the first few days, and this is completely normal. So if your cat seems to be a little bit unsure, don't fret. It'll take them a few days to kind of warm up to their new environment so that they can get accustomed to all the sounds, sights, and smells. And this will also help them learn where their litter box is so that they can learn where to go to the bathroom. Now, this is not sponsored at all, but my personal suggestion is don't use clay litter. Clay litter is bad for your cat's feet. It kind of gets their feet all chalky. It tracks everywhere, and there's lots of toxins and chemicals in the clay litter. So if you can avoid it at all costs, do so. I personally use pine litter. I find 40-pound bags for $5 at Tractor Supply Co. This has been a huge, huge relief for me. I was using clay when I first got the kitten, and I absolutely regret it. So if you can start off right, start off with pine or something that's not toxic, that's not going to make a huge mess. Now this is especially relevant if you have a kitten. No matter how cute it is, do not play with your hands. I was preaching this and telling everybody this, and yet I was still playing with my hands, and what ended up happening is my cat saw me and my skin as the best toy. He no longer wanted to play with his toys, he only wanted to attack and play bite me. So it's kind of cute, but as they get bigger, their bites get harder, their teeth get bigger, and it's just not a good idea to teach your cat to play with your hands. It's really important to get your cat or kitten used to nail trims. This is a huge deal. Your cat's claws will get so sharp, so I really encourage you to start trimming their nails from the get-go. Get them used to having nail trims. It's really an easy thing to do, but make sure you look up some charts so you can learn where the quick is. If your cat has white claws, you'll be able to see the blood vein in the actual nail. So that's an easier way to know where to trim, but I encourage you to start doing this right away to get your cat used to it. I also encourage you to start getting your cat used to being brushed, and if you're going to be bathing them, do this at an early age so that they get used to it. Cats don't need to be bathed, but I personally like to bathe them to make sure they're really clean. I used to be allergic to cats, so I need to make sure that they're clean all of the time so that I don't have an allergy come back up. This also goes for toothbrushing. I encourage you to get your cat used to getting their teeth brushed, and too many people don't take care of their cat's teeth. And periodontal disease is actually one of the main diseases that cats as adults can get. So you can avoid that if you start taking care of their teeth early. If your cat's not so sure about the toothbrush, try putting a little bit of coconut oil on it and see if your cat likes it. The last thing that I want to tell you guys about is to be intentional as to when you feed your cat. Cats are notorious for screaming when they want things and telling you when they want it right that second. So if you start feeding your kitten at 5 o'clock in the morning, they're gonna get used to that schedule and start screaming and waking you up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So be intentional when you feed them throughout the day, otherwise you might have a little screaming monster on your hands. It's also important to feed them a really good diet. Cats really should not be on a solely dry diet. They should be on a wet food diet or a raw diet. If you're going to use some kibble, just make sure you supplement it with things that are healthy, such as canned food or even some sardines once in a while. If you have any questions on what to do if you're going to get a cat behavior, or really just anything cat related, please comment below. I would love to answer those questions and dive into it with you. I've just been obsessed with studying cat behavior. This is such a new field for me and I am loving it. I'm reading every book I can get my hands on, and I'll make a separate video of the specific products that I am using and the books that I've read that I've absolutely loved and learned so much about. So if you like this video, please like it and subscribe. I don't know where it's going to be. I would really appreciate it, and share this with a friend. Tag somebody in it so they know what to do before they get a cat, because the last thing you want is to find out you should have done these things before and now you have a problem cat on your hands. So until next time, see you guys later.